Right. Hey, happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to Drag Racing Live, where we bench race with the world's top drag racers. My name is Bill Pratt. It's so great to be with you tonight. Johnny B, along with us as well, who will be monitoring the chat tonight. But tonight we're joined by Richard Gadson, the 2025 NHRA Pro Stock Motorcycle World Champion. From years of grinding away in other motorcycle classes with a lot of success, but finally reaching the top of the NHRA mountain, Richard's going to share the journey, the mindset, and what it really takes to win it all. Folks, so excited to have him tonight. Richard Gadson, welcome to the show.
How you doing? Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it. I've been looking forward to this for a while. So funny when Miss K saw me, I think she was in Vegas.
Hmm.
We were scheduling this and she says, we'll have you on January 5th. I'm like, geez, you guys schedule out. Most people call you like the day before, or maybe
Yeah.
even the week before. She's like, we'll schedule you January 5th and hopefully we'll be talking to you as a champion. And
Yeah.
I remember recording the video and saying, you guys can follow me along on my championship. And then I stopped and I'm like, Chase. And now here we are. So it
Yeah.
all got pretty good.
I love it. So it's all Kay's fault. Good, good, good. An amazing, amazing year. And of course, Kay is great. We're booked up to the end of February now. So we're like she gets us busy. And now
Wow.
I have to peek at her and tell her I think I just got a business meeting one of the nights, and I have to might have to ask her to reschedule in February. But well, let's talk about that championship. Obviously, a weird last race, right? Nobody saw that coming. I don't think in all my years of all of anybody's years of drag racing, never saw anything like that. But I know they did their very best. But you didn't back into that. You had a fantastic season. Tell us about that year.
Yeah, it really was a really good year. Even the bad races, I was watching a video NHRA put out the other day and it had like the top five moments and it said from um I think Bristol on. I never finished worse than a semifinal.
Wow.
I don't remember how many final rounds we went to, seven or something like that. And I think I won four of those seven. And it was really a year of consistency. It was a year I'm sorry, Gainesville and Chicago were really the only two bad races I had second round exits. Aside from that was semifinals or runner up or winners the rest of the year. So I would say it was a model of consistency. My crew chief, Eddie Prawick, actually won his first championship before he ever won his first race. I did win some races this year, but if you look at Gage, he won a few more races than I did. I think after I did the math at one point, it was from Chicago on, I had earned more points than anybody. I think I was in the points lead almost the whole countdown. Maple Grove, the first race was the only one that it wasn't. So it was a really cool year. And if you can't tell, I'm reciting all these things because these are things that I needed to convince myself of,
Right.
not convince myself, but I needed to remind myself of because of how strange the ending of the year was with Pomona raining out. So it's
Right.
kind of like just kind of remembering how I got here and why I ended up with the number one plate and it makes it a little easier to recite it to you guys.
Right. I appreciate it. And I guess for the fans who may not know this, what happened at the very last race of the year, the World Finals at Pomona, it actually got fully rained out, right? They weren't able to get it off. They tried everything they could over a couple of days. And so what they determined was whoever was in the lead going into the race, right? You
Yep.
were the champions. And it was the first time ever that had happened in drag racing. But again, nobody was backing in anything. And you had the field covered, and that was a tough field to cover.
Yeah, it was a tough field to cover, and we got really tough racing right now. We got really stiff competition. You have the obvious names that you hear: Gage, Matt, me, Angie Chase, etc., John Hall. But
Yep.
there are so many people that can sneak up at any given moment. They're on good equipment. They got great crew chiefs, and they can sneak up and bite you. Steve Johnson's,
Right.
for example, at any given moment, you lose to guys like that. And the Pomona deal was in all my years of racing. I've been racing 20 years plus. I've never seen a scenario like what we encountered in Pomona ever. I've never seen that much water hit a racetrack ever, and not just the rain, because when they called it, it wasn't raining anymore. They were drying the racetrack.
Right.
It was what it did to the facility. I won't just say the racing surface, to the shutdown area, to the sand traps, to the pits, to everywhere. It was so much standing water. The sand traps was flooded. It was like a brick. We need the sand to be
Yeah.
powdery if you're gonna,
Sand has to be sandy. Yeah.
yeah, to run off the race end of the racetrack. You can't run off in the sand that's waterlogged, and the racing surface was just, as they were blowing it was just peeling it away. And NHRA, I don't believe, really ever made the decision definitively to cancel it. They were going to try until forever. And it was more so the racers, the drivers. They had some meetings, and in those meetings, the racers were like, "We ain't going down this racetrack. I don't know what y'all are thinking, but we're not. This isn't safe conditions, and I don't think it'll be safe in 2 or 3 days. We can't ask our crew members and our et cetera. A lot of people have jobs at home. They have families. We can't ask them to just hang around until whenever. Like this isn't this is just the cards we were dealt. Some of the people in the comments, they act like NHRA or me or whoever they didn't want to win had the rain in our back pocket and we just threw it up in the air. But
Yeah.
it was just a really, really, really bad set of circumstances. But everybody bust their asses to be in first place. That's not an easy place to be. It's
Right.
especially not to sustain it. It wasn't luck. It would have been a great, great, great finale, but we're all rolling into 2026 to we all know we got unfinished business, and we're gonna roll into 2026 and have fun with it.
Right. Sounds great. Well, there's not going to be any asterisk at the end of anybody's names. The champions were the champions, and you're definitely one of them. Of the four most highly competitive professional classes in all of motorsports, and you took one of those guys. So yeah, Pomona is weird. I mean, if you remember back or read about it in '73 Winter Nationals, they called it Wet and Wild because they had a very similar situation, and they did keep extending it, and they finally ran them. And I mean, it was a nightmare of
It was a
this is,
nightmare.
yeah, they
Yeah,
were, the funny cars were about a second off. They were just
yeah,
all
just yeah. I
all
mean,
over the place.
we were talking safety at that point, and it just wasn't doable. But yeah, I'm not going to accept the asterisk next to it, man.
Mhm.
I worked my ass off, and I had a hell of a year. So we'll
Yeah,
take it. I'll take it. I got the trophy right there.
there it is. We're looking at it, folks. Check it out. 45 pounder. That thing's big, isn't it? When they
Yeah,
toss it your way, you better
it's
be ready to
it's
catch.
really big, and I don't know if it was a joke or what, but when they kind of passed it down the line, and I think I got it from Dallas. Doug Coletta, Austin Dallas, they're all bigger guys than me. When they passed it to me, it was kind of high, and I kind of struggled with it for a minute. And then I remember that there's cameras. I can't
That's right.
I can't be the one to
You
struggle
should have
with it.
just
But
done a couple of
yeah,
overheads with it.
yeah, I should have. Yeah, you're right. But yeah, that thing's heavy, man. It'll surprise you. I think it actually is 44 or 45 pounds. It's
Wow.
definitely a hunk of metal.
Well deserved, sir.
Thank you.
Well, you didn't just show up and win this thing overnight, though. I mean, let's walk folks into your racing background. And I know you've raced successfully with motorcycles for years. Tell us what you did before coming to NHRA and locking horns with the best of the best and in defeating the best.
Yeah, so it's a really long story, and sometimes I struggle with trying to figure out what part do I start, or
Hmm.
how do I tell it in a short um, um, format. But I'll basically say it. I'll sum it up like this: I've raced every class in motorcycle drag racing except for Top Fuel.
Hmm.
I've won in every class in motorcycle drag racing except for Top Fuel. And I'll never ride Top Fuel for you guys watching. It's not on the bucket list. I don't have the physical stature for it, but it's just a long year. I mean, a long story of opportunities, people believing in me and giving me opportunities to ride motorcycles. And for a long time, this is all I did. I lived it. I believe at one point in my career, I made more passes down the drag strip than anybody. I don't care if you race a car, a motorcycle, a snowmobile, or if you drag race boats on water. I think I made more passes down the drag strip than anybody every day of the week. Almost, it seems like that. Maybe I'm being dramatic, but every day that there was a test session at a racetrack anywhere within driving distance, I was there riding something. And I grew up in the AMA Pro Star is what is the sanctioning body that I got my start at. I raced a class called 600 Super Sport. I was just a kid, but some of the NHRA greats like Chip Ellis, Ryan Schnitz, Eddie Prawick, actually, the first race I ever won in my life was the engine that I bought from Eddie Krawick when
Wow.
he got his Yamaha deal and then ended up moving on to Vance and Hines. He had a Kawasaki prior to that. That engine ended up in my bike and I won it the day after my prom.
Wow,
With
nice.
that engine. Yeah, so look how life comes full circle. That's now my crew
Yeah.
chief on my NHRA journey. But Eddie Prawick, Chip Ellis, Ryan Schnitz, Ricky Gadson, what other NHRA people? Joey Gladstone.
Yeah.
There's so many. I'm sure I'm forgetting some. John Hall, actually. We all raced that class, and that class taught us a lot of the fundamentals that you apply right now in pro stock. They're normally aspirated engines, shift points, and technique meant a lot of things. I think that's what groomed me to have some of the skill sets that are required now. And then I kind of moved up from there and spent a lot of time. I owned the record for the quickest and fastest nitrous pro street bike from 2019. Actually, that was the last time I set the record. It was my own that we just kept resetting. But I would say from 2015 or so up until 2019, and then Gage Herrera just broke it this year. My team broke it. He still races that class. But so many different motorcycles, and I think I just compiled a lot of. Can I use words that aren't exactly
Sure
perfect?
you can. This is
But they
this is
used
an
to call
adult
me when I
station.
okay, perfect. When they used to call me when I was younger was a bike whore. And basically, like you just bounce from bike to bike to bike to bike to bike.
Yeah.
And now, what I would say to those people are that gave me the experience of being able to ride so many different things, and it also opened the door for me to work with so many different people. And I'm a sponge. I just learned so many things, and it all just kind of is a stair step to where we are now. I've won 5 championships prior to my NHR and prior to this 2025 Pro Stock Championship.
Mhm.
Some of them are in no wheelie bar stock wheelbase classes, and some of them are in index bracket racing classes, and some of them are in pro mod motorcycle, which is a step up from pro stock, basically similar to pro stock, but a nitrous application,
Right.
just like in the car world.
Right.
So kind of a little bit of everything, man. It's a long, 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 long journey, long road, a lot of racing all over the country, but it all led to where I am now. In my mind, I can kind of piece the whole story together. If this never happened, if I never met
Yeah.
this person, if I never rode that bike, I might have never met this person, et cetera, et cetera. So it's all starting to make sense now.
That's so cool. So it's kind of like a Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. You took the reps, right? You took the shots.
Yeah, for
Well,
sure.
well,
Definitely.
when everybody else was like, eating pizza and drinking beer, you were back at the strip, and pretty amazing.
Definitely. I had a lot of practice in there.
Well, that's it, right? What is it? What's that guy? It's like Gladstone. I'm missing his name, not the racer, but the author. He says, "What is it? 10,000 hours as you to master something, and you put your 10,000 passes in, maybe."
Yeah, absolutely. I wish there was a way to track how many it was or how many it is, but again, man, I think people if you were close to me at during that time frame of my life, people knew. I mean, I quit jobs, I left girlfriends or lost girlfriends, um, lost jobs. It didn't matter if there was anything, if there was a race. I might just tell you the day before. I got a job, and I might tell you the day before, oh, there's a race tomorrow. I need to leave and get off
Wow.
to go. And if they would say no, I would just quit, or I would go anyway, and I come back and I'm fired. But there was nothing that came above it. There was nothing
Yeah.
that came before racing in my life. You know, as an adult now that I'm older and I remember, and now that I know some of the family events and functions and milestones of my friends that I've missed, it kind of makes me feel bad. But when I won this championship, quite a few of them reached out and said, I get it now. I
Yeah.
understand. And it's okay because this is what it was all about the whole time. So,
Right.
I wouldn't change it for anything.
That's amazing. I'll tell you, and a couple former guests we've had on the show. Number one is Eddie Krawick. So howdy to Eddie. If he's
Yep.
watching, shout out my brother.
Yep.
We've had him on before. I can't remember when. We've done this show quite a long time. It's been within the last 5, 6 years, I guess.
That's my
But
dude.
also Matt's dad, Ricky Smith, the famous pro stock racer. And he shared, and pro mod, of course, in recent years, he shared the almost the very same thing you just did. He says, when you're going for the championship, and he's won a couple of them in a couple of different sanctioning bodies, but you almost have to be, that's got to be it. And he says, I have lost some time with family, this and that, but it is what you do, right? And it's unfortunate, but look where you are. You have achieved the goal that so many people aspire to. And I think isn't that the thing, Ricky or Richard, I'm sorry to say, is that you a lot of people want it, but only so many people willing to do what they got to do to get it.
Yeah, it's not for the faint at heart. And it's a relentless pursuit. It's a test of will. You know, when you think you're good, and then you still have to find ways to be better. I'm still learning to this day.
Hmm.
You were in our, if you could be a fly on the wall in our trailer, some of the conversations I have with Eddie and Andrew and prior, let's rewind a little bit. Prior to all of this, you know, you're regarded as one of the best or whatever, right? I'm a modest guy, but that's what people say. You
Hmm.
know, you're one of the best, or you could ride anything, or you do that, and you come over here and you're like, I got to find a way to turn it up a notch. I haven't had to try to find a way to be better in a long time.
Hmm.
uh, you know, it's a test of willpower, man. Sometimes you look in the mirror and you're like, it depends, right? You leave those race weekends and you got your face kicked in and you're like, man, like what am I doing? You know, and you know you got a long ways to go before you're that guy that's doing the butt kicking. But you know, having good support system, good friends, a good team, all those things help. And I'm just I couldn't get this close and not give it the best version of me. Um,
Right.
the best version of me.
That's so great. Well, actually leads into like the next question, although you've kind of taken us there already, but I was going to ask what change in your program mentally or mechanically or organizationally allowed you to go from, one of the top contenders to the man, to the champion this year.
Um, Learning a different way to think. Honestly, a lot of that is not mechanical. A lot of it isn't doesn't have anything to do with riding a motorcycle. I think I would say the last few races of last year, I started to ride in a form that I think I don't think I was as good as I am now, but I think that I could have won some races. I think it was just now was getting to a point where I know how I want to approach rounds, establishing a communication between me and my crew chief, between me and Eddie, to where you know I didn't want to carry the load by myself. I had a conversation with him at the start of the countdown. And I was like, listen, man, like I can ride this bike, but you're a champion. Like
Hmm.
I don't want to just do things or think things and not share it with you. And then afterwards, when it doesn't work out, and it's like, well, you should have did this, or you should have thought that, or you should have approached it this way. I'm gonna over communicate to you what I'm thinking. And then you can tell me what you think. And then when I go to staging lanes, we have a game plan now. Like I know what the move is. That way, if I go up there and I do what we talked about doing, and I don't veer from that game plan, you're not as mad about losing the round
Hmm.
because this is what we decided to do. This is how we were going to approach this round. And I think that's been one of the biggest things is just communication. You know, there are some things mechanically with riding a motorcycle. It's just, I'm a shorter guy. And for me to reach the handlebars and sit my butt in the seat at the same time, I know this sounds
A
funny, right?
stretch.
But yeah, but it's kind of a stretch for me to on pro stock bikes we choke up like this, and for a long time I lifted my butt up out of the seat. I just learned a few things. I don't want to overshare because I might have competitors watching right
Yeah.
now. But
People are going to be taking notes
yeah,
now.
yeah, exactly. But it's just things that I learned how to do to get more comfortable to find ways to not make hero passes to be repeatable,
Mhm.
um, to be able to whatever Eddie's in grudge racing. We used to have a thing where I would make a test pass and I bring the time slip back and I tell whoever's betting or whoever's setting up the race, don't expect me to do anything different than this. I'm not going to go up this next run for the money and try to make the best pass of my career ever. This, if you feel like this is good enough to win, then go ahead and bet. And I kind
Mhm.
of took that same mentality this year, thankfully, to Eddie, just like, you know what, just do something that you can do all the time and
Mhm.
you'll win more than you'll lose. You play the numbers, you play the odds.
Right.
And that's kind of what it ended up being.
Consistency kills always. That's so great. Hey,
Yep.
folks, we're talking to Richard Gadson, the 2025 NHRA Pro Stock Motorcycle World Champ. Get your comments and questions ready. JB is on the chat line, the Dina Parisi chat bleachers tonight, and uh, and let us know where we're about 10 minutes away. We'll start taking those questions. But oh my gosh, good stuff. So for folks who, and again, once again, you just answered my next question already. It's unbelievable. Literally, so listen to this. Just tell everybody that Richard's head is like so far ahead of us. My next question was like pro
I may
stock
be able to
bike.
expand on it. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
it's brutally competitive and technical. What one aspect of the bike or your riding style that became a real strength this year? And you just covered it.
Yeah, that's one of them. And then just I would say it's not only me, right? It's Eddie also making the bike work for how I ride.
Mhm.
You could take Gage off of his motorcycle and put somebody else on it and give the same exact tune up. It may slow down or speed up or vice versa, or whatever case may be. It's really kind of a thing to where everything has to work together. So it wasn't just me that got better and I became a champion. It was the whole dynamic of the trailer, our chemistry, the way we communicate. I could come back and I could give him a feedback that now I can make it make more sense. I've got 100 passes on the bike. I can tell you things in a way that you can count on to make tuning calls from. So there's so many different things, and like I said, there are things riding on the motorcycle. I'm always thinking 2 steps ahead, and I don't want to educate people so much. But I would say I just got more comfortable, and I stopped caring so much. Somebody made a statement, and sometimes it's the smallest thing, right? It's the smallest little phrase. And you might have heard it 100 times prior, but this one time it stuck. And I wish I could give them credit right now. But somebody said, you got to ride like you don't give a you know what. I think it was Matt Hines. It was Matt Hines. He said, you just got to ride like you don't care. And that's what I started doing. I just started letting it fly, and it works. It's working so
Yeah,
far.
because gosh, hype you up a little bit. That might be just, a 009 red or something.
Correct. Exactly.
So cool. Well, if there's, I know we don't overshare here, but for racers listening who want to move up a level, what's one habit or discipline that made the biggest difference in your career progression? Obviously, just hard work. I don't know if anybody can follow along. You gave them some of the roadmap already, but if someone's trying to get a little bit better or move up, what are your thoughts?
Um, for me personally, I think that film study is my biggest thing. I mean, people get annoyed with me and they're like, you watching the same video over and over and over. I'm not watching the same thing over and over and over. I'm breaking down, I'm dissecting every little piece. I'll zoom in and look at a different part of that video all infinitely, an infinite amount of times. My uncle, when I was younger, I was his camera guy. So I went up and I videoed every pro category, every round, every race. And I would come home and I would watch those tapes until they didn't play anymore, basically. And when it came time for me to race, to learn how to race, the first day I ever went to Echo Dragway, he actually had a helmet with like a little walkie-talkie. He was going to talk me through things. And I watched the guys in front of me take off from the start line. And before he turned around to tell me to do a burnout, the burnout guy told us to start our burnouts. And I started my burnout. I had never done a burnout on a street bike ever prior to that. But from the visual study of it, I knew how to do it. I did a perfect burnout the very first time. I staged, I launched, I did all of that. And I had never done it before. It was all just from me watching people do it so many times. And that's one of the things. And then I think the other things are, we creatures of habit, right? So like if you have a bad habit, it's hard to change that. I think I've learned and understood how to do things deliberately. I'm not just going up there to make a pass and whatever habits or whatever happens naturally happens. I'm able to make conscious decisions to I'm going to do this or I'm not going to do that or you need to change that this next pass. And I'm able to physically go up there and do that. I think that's a big thing is to be able to be deliberate in what you do. And I'm going to show you one of the other things. All right. 1 second. I'll be right
Yeah,
back.
cool. All right, we're going to get show and tell with Richard Gadson, the 2025 Pro Stock Motorcycle World Champ. Here we go.
Ignore the fact that I don't have grips on it right now. The reason I don't have grips on it is because I was trying to put the same grips that are on my bike on it. But this is a practice. 1 second. I'll show you. It's a practice tree that my grandfather, Doug Fisher, bought me. And I used to tell people one of the things that I thought made me so good was I made so many passes a year. I call it, I saw the tree a lot. It made me good because it was in a rhythm, et cetera, et cetera. Well, now I don't ride that much anymore. Like, I race NHRA You go to NHRA, you get there Thursday, make your first run to Friday afternoon. Where I'm from, like XDA series, I would have made 20 passes by now. You're already in your rhythm. So I have this, and I sit here on the counter at home, and I just pop the clutch. I don't think about it. I just keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. And I made that a muscle memory. And I don't just stop there. I take my thumb and I put it like I'm going to shift it right after. And I make that a muscle memory. I had a hard time last year with popping the clutch. I've made a really good career for myself of sliding clutches on like street bikes. So popping the clutch was mechanically a hard thing for me. And this is one of the things that's helped me. So I'll share that much. Those things: film study, be deliberate, and practice. Basically, repetition.
Outstanding. Oh my gosh, folks. Click the like, click the share if you want to see more like this, because Richard Gadson's taking us to school tonight. Unbelievable. Well, let's talk about your competitors. Obviously, the best of the best out there. One of your teammates is one of them, who was the champion in 2024. But who were the competitors who pushed you the hardest, and how did racing them make you better?
Obviously, Gage is the obvious answer, for obvious reasons. This right here, I believe, is his calling on our sport. I think he's probably the most dominant figure in this class over the last, I don't know, I'm not as I don't know how many years, but it's not just him. You got Matt Smith, is six-time champion, not by mistake. And what Matt kind of teaches you about is that beating him isn't only simply about having a faster motorcycle or cutting a good light. Like, you race somebody else, you're trying to be faster. And beating Matt requires a mental toughness because he's a gamesman. He's got all the tricks, he's got all the stuff, and it doesn't just start at the start line. He's in the staging lanes talking junk to you. His father, Tricky
Ricky, right?
Matt has the same exact aura. I don't know why Ricky got that nickname, but I know why Matt has it. I mean, we're on the top end of the racetrack and he knows he has you next round. He starts planting seeds about his bike. Oh, it did this, or I'm having a problem, or he does all kind of smoke and mirrors. And if you're not able to withstand that onslaught from him, you have a problem. Braden Davis, he was riding one of our motorcycles, same equipment we're on, and he got off to a hot start. He came to the first two races and he qualified number one. I had never qualified number one up until that point. And he jumped right on a motorcycle, and he's 19 years old. So he was another one. And that was, I think, Bristol, it kind of pushed me. You say other competitors that pushed me. I said, I can't let him win a race before I've been here over a year. And I haven't won a race. He's going to come in the first race and be top dog. Something's got to give here. Like, I don't know how we're going to work this out, but it can't go that way. And Angie Smith, I love Angie. She's actually probably, I'd say, if I had a person that I root for silently, Angie's one of my favorites. Just because she's a tough girl, like tough girl. And she's got a fast motorcycle, and when they're on, she beats her husband, like a lot. She's a tough one. John Hall, Chase Van Sant I feel like I know my stats showed this year as the best lever in the class, but I think Chase Van Sant is probably, over the last 3 seasons as a whole body of work, probably the best lever in the class. And you can't go up there and play it safe. You just can't. You can't do that. So everybody, the way I like to say it right now is, once you pass first round, second round, you got some seriously tough people. And then once you get to the semifinals, it's just 2 final round matchups. So when you get to the end of a day with the competitors I just named, when you get to the end of a day, if you won, you're absolutely exhausted mentally, if above it, because every round required you to be 100%. That's how tough it is to win in this class right now.
Right. You're basically riding pro category machines and hitting the numbers and hitting the consistency that you would do in bracket racing.
Absolutely.
When you're just down, and that's all based on dialing, but you're doing it legit. Man, fantastic stuff.
Perfect.
I got a couple more questions for you, but let's give the Dina Parisi chat bleacher. Dina Parisi, the pro mod world champ for NHRA. She named the chat bleachers, and I love that name. So we're gonna call him that in honor of her. But John, Who do we got out there and what do they have to say tonight?
But we have a great crowd here tonight, coast to coast. And we have a few comments and a few questions if y'all have time for this.
Yes,
Heck
sir.
yeah, let's
Absolutely.
go.
Everybody to the last man says congratulations, Richard, on
Same.
your championship.
Thank you all.
And
I appreciate it.
Kay Thurkelson said, Happy New Year, all. Thank you, Richard, for being so kind and joining us this evening. You rock.
Same to you. Thank you.
Rich Panicaro followed that up and he said he's a great down to earth guy. Very impressed.
Yeah, Richie's a Natco racer there. I don't know if you ever get a chance to
Oh,
meet him. He used
I,
to bracket
you
race an
know,
Oldsmobile.
I may know him by face, or I may know his car. I was always so zeroed in on the bike thing. I kind of had tunnel vision, but
Mhm.
if he's an ACO Raceway original, then we family no matter what. So
Right. Ford Purley had a question for you, Richard. He said, What gives you your motivation and determination to succeed in a very challenging career?
um, I had to make it all worth it. Like I couldn't do all of this and work this hard and go through everything I went through, and this not be the outcome is kind of like my motivator. Everybody races for different reasons. Some people want to race NHRA because it's on TV. Some people want to race for whatever. I don't know what everybody's whys are, but you got to find your why and zero in on that. My why is I want to be better, but then the dude that's right in the other lane. I just want to be better than him. And I wanted to prove that I didn't, it wasn't because of luck or because of money or whatever case may be. I really just worked that hard to climb the ladder to get here. And it means a lot to so many people. Whenever I don't have the motivation or I can't find it, I can look to my friends, my family, or the drag racing community in general. Some of the text messages people send me, I get text messages during race weekends that kind of pick me up. I kind of feed off of people sometimes. So I don't know if there's any single one motivator. My daughter, obviously, one of the things that I said a few years ago when I was really heavy into the grudge racing, and I would win a race, and people would say, "Why don't you post? Like you just won a big race. Why didn't you post it?" And I always said something's missing. Like I feel like I'm racing for nothing anymore. I don't have anybody to be super proud of. And then when I had my daughter, I said, "Oh, so now I want to be at the prime of my career while she's still around to watch it happen. So she
Right.
can be like I was with my uncle. I could go to school and like show and tell. I never did anything else for show and tell. I did the same thing over and over and over. I take one of his helmets or something like that or whatever. But I would kind of want to be that for her and to show her those things. So I would say those things ish are some of my biggest motivators. But every race is something different. I might be just pissed off at some point, or I might want to beat somebody, or I might have read a comment on social media. You find motivation in so many different areas.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Focus that stuff.
Yeah.
Rob McCade had a comment. He said the Gadsons have always had the success in two-wheel racing. I remember Ricky all the time back in the day. He said Dragless Live is the show of champions.
Yes, sir. Yeah, my uncle Rick is how I got my start. Father passed away when I was 6 years old, and he took me under his wing, and I started riding pretty much shortly thereafter. And I was on the racetrack racing at 14, I think 15. I wasn't really legal age to race, but I was racing. I
Mhm.
think I'm past the statute of
Especially in
limitations.
Jersey, right there.
Yeah, I can't get in trouble for that now. It's been enough time that's passed. But yeah, he was a reason for the season. And yeah, Ricky Gadson, that's my uncle.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Now, a guy showed up with the handle of Beast N804, and I found out that his name is LeVar Lewis.
Bar Lewis.
And he
I
said,
do.
Richard's story is awesome. He said, the struggle, the willing to race all the time. He said, it's my old psycho bike name was
Yeah.
Beast
Yep.
804. He said, Richard taught me how to ride motorcycles. We worked together at HTP Performance for a couple of years.
Yep.
And he said, Richard will tell you he grabbed a bag of clothes and went on a journey being the best motorcycle racer there is.
Yeah. He
Awesome.
knows. That's one person that knows the story. He's known me pretty much most of it, and he wasn't an exact, like, he wasn't a family member. So he was just somebody that I knew, but he's known me all of these years. So he came to Virginia Motorsports Park, NHRA race. His kids now race, and he came to VMP, brought his RV, and just that was one of my motivators for that weekend. Just talking to him and knowing what it meant for him to see me, kind of get where I am. So it's like I said, you find it in so many different places. What's up, LeVar?
Yeah. Awesome. Shout out
Well,
by the champ.
yeah, Rob McCabe mentioned, he said exactly, consistent practice is vital. And I agree with the 10,000 hours. I did that with music.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
I ended up having a successful career in it. And then Rob said, no, wait a minute, it wasn't Rob that said that. LeVar said, Rich will tell you he doesn't even own a motorcycle license. He just loves motorcycles.
Never had a motorcycle's license. I've only ever owned one motorcycle in my life.
Wow.
I've never had my own bike. I've never had a motorcycle license. I use the term, I don't like motorcycles. I like to race motorcycles. There's a difference, right? There's not a bone in my body, a little bit now, but I've never been, I want to go for a ride or ride on the street or I want to go to a bike night or whatever. You'd never see me ever at any of that stuff,
Wow.
not willingly. But now I'm kind of like, I'm like getting older, so I'm interested and I want a Harley for whatever reason. I don't know. I might get it and then decide I don't know why the heck I got this thing. But it's kind of it's kind of creeping in there a little bit. But yeah, no, never owned a bike in my life. But one thing I need to
Fascinating.
piggyback on you guys before you go to the next question
Yeah.
or the next comment.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here thinking about when you said about the consistency, and you said you drew the analogy of bracket racing and pro racing. I honestly believe one of the turning points this year that I didn't actually mention much of. There was a race up here at Bunker Hill Dragway, which is owned by Terry McMillan, former NHRA Top Fuel racer.
Right.
It was just a bracket race that I had just got my butt kicked in Chicago from Steve Johnson. And Alexis's grandfather, my girlfriend's grandfather, said, "You come to Bunker Hill and let's do some bracket racing." It was a big shootout, $10,000 shootout. Everybody, the best of the best, were all there. And I went there and I won both of the classes that I entered.
Wow.
And it was a good rhythm day. I hadn't won a race in a long time. Forget NHRA. Before racing pro stock, I hadn't rode in almost 2 years before this situation, before this opportunity, I should say. So I hadn't actually won in a long time at anything. And going to that race and being able to go through, I think it was 18 or 19 rounds between the two classes and to win the race, I think that was one of the biggest confidence boosters and biggest displays for me. I don't care, is what you do when nobody's looking, right? When you just, it's just for yourself, was the biggest display to me of like, I can still be consistent. I can still do these things at a high level. So the bracket racing is one of the bigger things. If I gave some advice to piggyback on the question you asked earlier, is guys, go race some Top Gas or go race a 460 or Street ET. I don't care, and go win there and see what it'll do to your riding, because it'll teach you disciplines that you really need in pro stock.
Man, love it, love it. That's so good. John, anybody else with a thought, sir, or yourself?
Yeah, Dale Broderick said he'll see you at Indy this year, Richard.
Nice, catch you there.
And Kay Thurkelson asked a question. She said, any consideration of IHRA events in the future?
They don't have pro stock motorcycles, so that'd be a no. Those are the Top Fuel guys that I just told you I'll never race.
Right.
The Top Fuel guys race IHRA. I like racing, period. So if there was one local and I could go just watch or something like that, maybe I'd go just be a fan for a day. But as far as racing there, unless they get a class that I compete in, I have no plans right now.
Right.
Got
Cool,
it.
man. We're caught up for the moment.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you, John. Thank you, Chat Bleachers. Thanks to Miss Dina Parisi for that great turn. Well, let's talk. I just got a couple more questions. Champion, you already mentioned Eddie, of course, but championships don't happen alone. Who are the key people behind the scenes who help you reach this milestone? Obviously, Eddie, a big part of your success, and Vance and Hines. But anybody you want to give a shout out to that kind of helped you along?
Yeah, it's kind of the people at the shop, the boys at the shop, Matt Hines, Byron, Raphael, Luciano, the people that names never get mentioned are a big reason for what you see roll out of those trailers. Terry, obviously, of course, of course, those guys, the racing team. But then you even have it on the personal level. My girlfriend Alexis, who we have a small 3-year-old child, and she stays home and does the heavy lifting while I go race. I call it that. While I go race and have fun. Again, I got a big supporting cast of family members, my uncle, my mom. It's a lot of different people, but I try to be mindful of the guys who, it's like a football team, right? If you go and you win, everybody talks about the quarterback. Aaron Rodgers, they're the person whose name gets all the shine, but there's an offensive line in front of that quarterback or whatever the case may be. And like I said, we got some key players back at the shop that don't really get much of their just due. I don't think they care one way or the other, but they're the reason that you see these motorcycles roll out the trailer and the products that we put out there on the racetrack to catapult me engaged to championships.
Right. So amazing, and so true. Well, you've reached the top. What's next? Defending the title, raising the bar, chasing a new challenge. Obviously, some like Antron obviously went on the top fuel in which at one of the years. That what are your thoughts for the future?
So that's if I can be transparent, that's been something I've been if you chase something your entire life, like you're chasing this thing. It's like trying to find the pot of the gold at the end of the rainbow, right? When you get it, it's like, well, what now? Like I've been trying to get this all this time. What now? What's next? What's your new motivator or your new thing? And for me, the obvious answer isn't just go do it again, get number 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not really it. For me right now, it's tell the story. Obviously, try to win again because now my new motivator with racing is proving that it wasn't a luck thing or whatever. I don't know if I have to. Proving probably isn't a good word, but just showing, displaying that I raced at a championship level and that we could do that we could stay there. But I think just tell the story, pass on whatever I can to somebody else. And that comes in different forms. Just whatever I can. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't quite put the period at the end of the sentence for that question, but I'm still trying to figure that out. When I go into 2026, when I go into Gator Nationals, I think I'll have that answer more clear.
Well, it sounds great. Well, we can always check back in too if you got a little time for us.
For sure.
But let me wrap up with where can folks follow along with Richard Gadson online or elsewhere?
Yeah, so I have a Facebook page. It's just a personal page. I don't have a professional page. I probably should, but it just got to be a lot to me to have the both and juggle, and I fumbled that pretty bad. I'm not that good at social media, but just Richard Gadson on Facebook, and Instagram is RG5 Racing. RG5 for Richard Gadson the fifth. So RG5 Racing, and that's pretty much my two. That's all I got. I don't have TikTok or anything else or Twitter or anything like that. But you can find me there. I post a little bit of mix of everything: racing, personal, just a regular Facebook page. I don't want to disappoint anybody when you go there. I'm just being me. So that's where you can find me.
Well, just being you is all we need, my friend, because just being you won the 2025 NHRA Pro Stock Motorcycle World Championship and ready to try to do it again in 2026.
Yep,
Thank you
ready to
so
rock.
much for
I can't wait.
visiting us tonight, man. This has been a blast. And you were the very first, well, you don't have it in the back. We are the very first drag racing live guest as we enter 2026. We'll do a little bit of a rebrand. But really appreciate you. Thanks for the little shout out you did for us. And that went crazy today. Kay put that up this morning, and oh my God, I kept getting bing, 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 bing. Every time it hit 500 new hits, I was getting an alert on it. So,
I appreciate it. I was actually trying to figure out how to help or how to do more because all I did was share it. But and I didn't know if you had Instagram, but no, I really appreciate you guys having me. I've been looking forward to this for a while. This was really fun. This is my first podcast of 2026 as well. So I'm the
Woohoo.
first drag racer on. This is my first one of 2026. I definitely won't forget it. And we'll have to get back on here and do this again soon.
I would love it, sir. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, Richard Gadson, your 2025 champ. And we'll see you somewhere down the road, my friend.
Thank you
Thanks so
guys. I
much.
appreciate it.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, guys. Happy New Year's, everybody.
Unbelievable. Okay, let's say farewell to Richard, and we will bring John Bachman in for this week's JB's Take and the Racer of the Week. John, take it away, sir.
Thanks, VP. My pick for Racer of the Week is Victoria Beaner from Fort Myers, Florida. Victoria was recommended to me by our producer, Kay Thurkelson. Thanks, Kay. Victoria is an amazing, dynamic racer who, at the age of 14, is on a par with racers twice her age, and she is successful and dedicated to winning every day. She races junior dragster and micro sprint. We're excited to see what she puts together. This coming year, she is focusing on seat time, honing in on skills with the micro, working through her Spine of Hope Foundation to bring awareness for early detection of adolescent scoliosis with appearances in many different settings. Victoria is climbing new heights every season in her racing career. Her racing journey started at the age of 7 when her dad took 2 older junior dragsters and made one from them. Coming from a metal fabrication background, this was a simple thing for him to do. After receiving her track license at a local track, she claimed a final victory in her very first race. It didn't take long before she knew she'd like to be a full-time professional racer. A lot has changed in the 5 short years since that first race. She has more than 1,200 passes down the track with numerous round wins, not to mention claimed several finals and multiple track championships in her newer Mike Boss Jr. dragster with a Nick Woods engine. The last being runner-up for the top Junior Dragster 2023 PDRA season. Victoria wears many hats in her racing schedule other than just being a driver. From maintaining her car, running social media, and co-hosting at times for the Fast Brackets podcast and bringing updates on the world of junior dragsters. With love now for speed and currently a 4th-generation circle track driver, she plans to run the 2025 PDRA season in her dragster, as well as to run a select amount of micro sprint races for Carver Racing at Millbridge Speedway. She was the 2023 Sportsman Rookie of the Year for all classes in the Professional Drag Racing Association, the PDRA. Visit her website to get the whole story of this amazing young lady, victoriabeaner.com. Victoria, thanks for sending this great story. You're an awesome drag racer and a great person. We wish you good luck, safe racing, and the best of times in the future. Everybody stay safe and well. You are the most important part of this show, and we love you all. It's a great way to spend an hour together on a Monday night. Have a great 2026, folks. We'll see y'all next time. God bless America. Back to you, BP.
Thank you, John. Man, Victoria is amazing. That's what a great racer.
She is. She's terrific.
Well, we're jumping right into 2026, so let's talk about a couple of upcoming events this weekend, actually, believe it or not. January 10th and 11th, it's the Drag Fest, the indoor drag racing showcase up in Lebanon, Pennsylvania. Hope you go up there and enjoy it. I actually have family coming to town, so unfortunately, I will not be able to come this year. But everybody enjoy. Tell everybody hello for me. And on January 17th, we have the Foot Brake Practice Tree Winter Nationals, part of the Cars for Kids fundraising effort up at Lenny Lottig's place in Pennsylvania. We've put posters up all over the drag racing list ecosystem. So check out one of those and tell Lenny hello for us. Upcoming guest, folks, Miss Kay's been working hard. Let's talk about next Monday night. Scott Woody Woodruff of the IHRA. Everybody's talking about IHRA these days. Let's find out what they got planned for 2026. We'll have Woody on the show. Excuse me. That's next Monday night. Coming up after that, Mason McGahey, Chad and Hunter Green. That wraps up our January. Then Luke Bogaki, Fido Macholo, McKenna Bold, and Sam Foyer, aka Animal Jim. Jim Foyer, the great pro mod star, rounds out our February. So we got nothing but good stuff coming. And I know Kay's working hard on the rest of the months. As Richard was telling me today, he was amazed that we were so far ahead in getting our guests. But Kay has brought that action to us. Let's talk about those we lost. A couple names to mention tonight. On the 27th of December, we lost Rudolph Laris, also known as Rudy Laris. He was 85 years old. He's actually the owner of Laris Insurance Agency and Laris Racing. His passion was vintage cars. He was always involved in drag racing, but one of the great insurance companies who focused on the racing scene, and just a very great guy, and we really appreciate all his support over the years. Another person passing away on the 28th of December was Bill Howell, a stock eliminator racer. He raced a bunch of great Ford Mustangs in stock. Farewell to Bill. And then this one hits, actually, I haven't even talked to John about this yet. But because there's a connection here. Jim Sorensen passed away on January 2nd, 2026. Jim was one of the originals on the internet. He was the creator of the Awful Fuel Altered site, which connected me with my lifetime friend, John Bachman. And Jim, back in the day, in the 90s there, when it was me and Jim and NHRA, and I think Don Ewald with We Did It for Love, there were very few drag racing sites. I think Bobby Bennett came along with Competition Plus. Shortly thereafter, of course, Jeff Burke was out there with his news site, which is now defunct, and Bobby's got the big news site. But Jim Sorensen, one of the originals, and a great guy, crazy artists, he's well known in the music scene and well known in the drag scene. And he made some of the best t-shirts for drag racing. And of course, one of the best websites that ever existed for drag racing. But Jim Sorensen passing away on January 2nd. So lots of tributes out there for Jim. Someone I've known since, well, about 96, 97, as our online community kind of matched what a lot of people in their personal communities. But we do send our condolences to the family and friends of these great racers, and thanks for the thrills over the years, guys. With that, John, coming to a close here on the show, Drag Racing Live. I'll be asking you to maybe rebrand us a little bit. And we talking to Kay, we got a lot of fun things to talk about. I guess I'll toss in a little bit on that before we go to John to close. But I did put up another video today, just about 2 minutes. I recorded it about 5 in the afternoon, maybe a little earlier. But basically, we're going to expand the YouTube channel this year. I'm working with a coach. You've seen a couple of changes we've made to the show. A coach has taken me through and shown me like the viewership reaction to certain segments of the show. We're going to keep working on that. We're going to keep bringing cool new things together. But one of the things we're going to start doing, in addition to this Dragless Live, or now Drag Racing Live, is never going away. This is going to be the anchor of our show, and it's going to be live every night, every Monday night at 8. But we're also going to do a number of other 15-minute YouTubes where we go and meet with the best pro, semi-pro, and sportsman drag racers and others, sponsorship experts, people like that, and actually ask them, okay, tell us one thing or two to help other drag racers, other people tuning their cars, and other people driving their cars. Tell us something that people can take away and learn from. And we're gonna just zoom around and do a ton of those videos. And I don't know how many, at least one a week. I want to get started, maybe 2 a week. We'll see how many we can put up there. But really want to get the channel to a point where we're educating in addition to bringing cool people on and learning about their history. So it's kind of going to be broad based. And, also you've seen these YouTube or TikTok reels, maybe 2 or 3 minutes. One of the things we want to do is go through our shows, all the shows we've ever done. Number one, we got to move them all here to YouTube, which I haven't done yet from Facebook. But then we want to go through and pull cool segments out, make those into those reels, and then start popping those up on Facebook and elsewhere. And of course, you've also already seen the great stuff that Kay does um, out there with Nitro Alley and others and having a great time. And so we want to actually put those up here as well. You see those on Facebook and elsewhere. So we really want to grow this channel and make it the place where people can come and meet these great drag racers and get to know them a little bit better and learn a little something to make your lives better, which is what we hope to do, in addition to just hanging out with our pals. So anyway, I threw that together, just a couple of words. But keep your eyes open because we're going to be making minor tweaks and trying to make the channel better and better. But thanks so much for joining us. We have so much fun doing it. So John, I guess I'm get off my soapbox here. Your final thoughts about the show or anything else you want to talk about?
Well, the first thing I'm going to do after the show is over is I'm going to go watch that video you just talked about. And I can do the rebrand. It's not a problem. I'll be sending a few proofs to you for your approval before we go forward with it. But having Richard Gadson on the show was a great way to kick off 2026. And I think it was just a terrific interview with him. He's a fantastic person, a great competitor, and a true champion. And we were really proud to have Richard with us tonight.
He was amazing. And yeah, really, really took us. I mean, I'm thinking about as he was talking, I'm like, I'm going to cut that as a reel. I'm going to cut that as a reel. I'm going to cut that as a reel. And then pop it out there. And then of course, send everybody back to the main show. So cool. Thank you, John. I do want to thank Richard Gadson. He was really awesome. John Bachman, of course, my brother, Kay Turkelson, Pete Moriello, Rob McCabe, David Oakes, Mel Bashore, Ron Toombs, John Mernon, and Jeff Gilder, who got us our start. Thanks in heaven to the big man, Danny White. Please subscribe to the Drag List channel. Click the little logo down below and you can subscribe. We got 534. Now keep in mind, we have 303,000 Facebook followers. I sure would like some of those folks to transition over here to YouTube, but we'll get there eventually. You can check in on draglist.com every single day to see what's new. By the way, David Oakes with a great recap of the year. Check out those great David Oakes photos and other cool stuff every day. Find us on the Radio Bob Network. And finally, let's say farewell. See you January 12th, next Monday night for IHRA's Woody Woodruff. Let's get it from the guy himself what IHRA plans to do for 2026. Until then, my name's Bill. On behalf of John and Kay and the rest of the gang, have a fabulous week and Happy New Year, everybody.